In this training unit, I want to show you how to legally use your dealer license plates and how to legally issue what is known as a temporary permit. So you have dealer plates, temporary permits, loaner plates, laden dealer permits as well. And I'm going to show you each one of these and exactly how to legally use them. So first, let's talk about the lawful use of dealer plates. Dealer plates may be used on vehicles that are operated by the dealer or a licensed salesperson in connection with the dealer's business. The dealer plate may be used on a vehicle assigned for personal use on a full-time basis to the retail dealer for the licensed full-time salesperson. But remember, wholesale dealers cannot use dealer plates for personal use. Here's some other lawful use of dealer plate instructions. A dealer plate may not be used for more than 96 hours on a vehicle that's in the possession of a prospective buyer. And now there is a possibility that you can allow that purchaser to take a vehicle overnight, but they would need a letter of authorization. So do please keep that in mind. If you do want to allow a customer to take a vehicle overnight for an extended test drive, then they would need to have written authorization from you. They can never possess that vehicle for more than 96 hours. So please keep that in mind. A dealer plate may be used by a licensed part-time salesperson on a vehicle that's offered for sale only to demonstrate the vehicle to a prospective buyer. And a dealer plate may be used by other employees or authorized persons not licensed when testing the mechanical operation of the vehicle or for the necessary operation of the dealer's business, including delivery and pickup of the vehicle owned by the dealer. A dealer plate may not be used on a loaded trailer in connection with the dealer's business to move vehicles or trailers from dealership to dealership location. A dealer plate may be used on a loaded trailer in connection with the dealer's business to move vehicles or trailers from the dealer to another dealership location or from the dealership to an off-site location, as long as the dealer is properly licensed under state law. There is some identification that you'll need to carry when you're using a dealer plate. Each dealer and salesperson is issued an identification card by dealer operations that must be carried when operating vehicles that display dealer plates. And I want to repeat that very important information. Each dealer and salesperson will be issued an identification card by dealer operations that must be carried when operating vehicles displaying a dealer plate. So always please keep that in mind. You also have to have your liability insurance identification for each vehicle as well. So make sure that every person driving a vehicle that has your dealer plate has proper insurance identification as well. You may never place a dealer plate on a work or service vehicle that's not held in stock for resale, and you may not place it on a leased or rented vehicle that's owned by another dealer. You may not place a dealer plate on laden vehicles, that you may not place a vehicle on a vehicle that's already been sold, and you may not place a dealer plate on any vehicle that's operated in conjunction with any other business in any way. So you can never place it on a vehicle that's operated for personal use for a wholesale dealer. So please keep that in mind. Now I want to talk about the lawful use of what is called a loaner plate. A loaner plate may be used on vehicles in stock for sale, and they may be placed on vehicles that are loaned to customers while the customer's vehicle is being repaired. They may also be placed on vehicles that are operated by the dealer or his or her family for personal use, or on vehicles used for the furtherance of the dealership business. Once again, you do have to have some identification that must be carried when anyone is using a loaner plate, including all the registration, the documentation issued to the dealer or the dealer salesperson, and insurance identification. So please keep that in mind. Now let's talk about the unlawful use of a loaner plate. You may never place a loaner plate on a work or service vehicle, or a rented vehicle, or a vehicle that's already been sold, or other than the vehicle that's being used for the furtherance of the business on vehicles by the dealership. So please keep that in mind as well. Now I want to show you how to legally use what's called a laden dealer plate. This may only be used on a unit in the dealer's inventory for sale, and it's limited to move the vehicle from one location to another location, and it is valid on vehicles up to 26,000 pounds of vehicle weight. I want to show you a chart here that has several great phone numbers for you if you ever have questions about the lawful use of laden plates. So please make a note of this local contact information for any type of temporary weight permits that you might need to obtain before using a laden plate on vehicles that are over 26,000 pounds. So if you don't have a vehicle over 26,000 pounds, then you'll be good to go. But if you have a vehicle that's over 26,000 pounds, then you might have to get a temporary rate increased permit from one of the following offices that you see right here on the screen. So you might want to make a note of this screen. If you have questions about the lawful use of laden permits, then you can call 208-334-8420. Once again, 208-334-8420 if you have any questions about the lawful use of laden dealer plates. Now, once again, let's talk about the unlawful use of laden plates. They may not be used by anyone for personal use. They might not be used on vehicles over 26,000 pounds unless the permit has been issued. They may not be used in the presence of another business besides the dealership, and they may only be used on vehicles in the dealer inventory, and they may never be used for any other reason other than those that are noted right there on your screen. And remember, you must carry identification when you're using a laden plate, including the registration document and proof of insurance on that vehicle as well. This very important form is called your dealer plate order form ID ITD 3635. And as you can see, you can easily complete this form to order your dealer plates once you've obtained your dealer's license. You cannot get dealer plates until you have your Idaho dealer license. So you can order your dealer plates or renewal stickers for the plate when your license is also being renewed. You can order laden plates or renewal stickers for your laden plates. And I'm sure you're going to definitely be putting these dealer plates to use here very soon. If you ever have a dealer plate that's stolen or damaged, then you definitely need to notify the department as well. Next, I want to cover your temporary permits. A temporary permit is a 72-hour temporary permit that's issued to Idaho residents, and a 30-day temporary permit is issued to out-of-state residents. Once again, a 72-hour temporary permit is issued to a vehicle when you've sold it to an Idaho resident, and a 30-day temporary permit is issued to an out-of-state buyer. First, let's talk about the 72-hour temporary permit. So this will allow that customer to drive the vehicle they purchased from you temporarily for up to 72 hours. A temporary permit may only be placed on a vehicle sold by your dealership. You can never place a temporary permit on a vehicle that was purchased by your brother-in-law or another dealer, if somebody just walks into your office wanting to buy a temporary permit and they did not purchase a vehicle, that is never allowed. A temporary permit can only be placed on a vehicle that is sold by your dealership. So please keep that in mind, and it may only be posted on a vehicle that has current insurance. So you want to make sure your customer can show you a current insurance policy, and then the customer must retain the blank information as well. Remember just a few moments ago, I showed you the white permit copy off of Form 0502 that has the temporary permit. As you can see right here with the red outline, this is your actual temporary permit from Form 0502. And I want to magnify this a little bit so you can see what it looks like here. It's going to have your dealership name, your dealership signature, and the expiration date, which will be 72 hours from the date of delivery, not including weekends or state holidays. After you've sold the vehicle, remember you're going to place that temporary permit in the back left rear window of the vehicle that you have sold, just like you see on the screen right now. Next, I want to show you a 30-day temporary registration permit. This would be issued to a person from another state that lives outside the state of Idaho, and will generally give the customer a bill of sale as well. But make sure that the person that you're selling that vehicle to has a 30-day permit. Now, the 30-day permits are sold in books of 20, and currently one book costs $180, which is $9 per permit. So you're going to need to issue these permits in sequence and keep copies with detailed information for every vehicle that they've been placed upon. A 30-day temporary registration permit allows an out-of-state buyer to drive a vehicle purchased from a dealer in Idaho temporarily for up to 30 days. And they may only be placed on a vehicle that's sold by the dealership, and they may only be placed on vehicles that are insured. As you can see, when you're issuing a 30-day permit, it will expire in 30 days, and that allows that out-of-state buyer time to bring that vehicle back to their home state and pay their proper sales tax fees to their home states. You must order temporary permits in advance. So once you get your dealer's license, here you see the 30-day temporary permit registration order form, ITD 3763. I really hope that you're finding all this information very helpful. So let's go ahead and move on to the next training unit.